Keiji Mogami vs Ryomen Sukuna was once upon a time my favourite matchup of all time, and while it's no longer at the top, I still hold the matchup near and dear to my heart. However, it's been long since I ever covered the topic, and a lot more information has come out about Sukuna, so I thought it'd be appropriate to remake the older video and tackle the subject once more. The only problem is that Sukuna can scale to multiple different levels of power, as I've outlined in the Mob vs Jujutsu Kaisen video, which I'll link in the description and put in the iCards. Because of this, I won't go as in-depth with scaling as I did there, so if you have questions about the feats, you can just go to that video for more of an explanation. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. This video was chosen via poll on my Discord server, so if you haven't already joined that and want to get more involved with uploads in the future, join that, the link will be in the description below. And let's get on with Keiji Mogami vs Ryomen Sukuna. Mogami's pure strength should scale just under 100% mob. This is due to the fact he was capable of going blow for blow with him, but did ultimately lose. However, after his body was destroyed, the spirits within him were so powerful they were able to overwhelm and defeat 100% mob, meaning that he should scale just below mob but potentially even higher when his body has been destroyed. Mob at 100% has a few feats to pull from. The first feat of 100% mob is splitting clouds in the Toriichiro fight. This feat is equal to 8.5 gigatons of TNT to 38.5 gigatons of TNT, or being an island level feat, with God Dimple causing shockwaves which span over far above the divine tree, being as powerful as 31.75 gigatons of TNT, and the best feat the 100% mob has is creating a loud sound which spans over the solar system in a short amount of time. In order to do this, you would need power equal to 4.36 to the power of 26 watts, which, when converted to joules and tons of TNT, is 1.041 petatons of TNT, or enough to destroy a continent. As for speed, Keiji should be much faster than the likes of Ryo Shimazaki, who can dodge point-blank bullets very easily, with of course this feat ranging between 5,200 miles per hour to its highest end of 60,000 miles per hour. Of course, the highest that Keiji can scale to is relative to 100% mob, who's capable of perceiving lightning within a cloud within slow motion and reacting to it, with the feat in question being calculated to 26 million miles per hour. Hacks-wise, Keiji was once a very skilled Esper, which therefore grants him telekinesis and the ability to create, project, and manipulate psychic energy, along with creating force fields. Being an Esper, it also gives Keiji built-up resistance to possession as well. The reason why Keiji is so strong, however, is due to the existence of evil spirits. Evil spirits are literally evil spirits, which can regenerate from being reduced to molecules and are invisible to most people. This means that not only can Mogami counter people with these abilities, but is also capable of absorbing evil spirits into him, which allows him to get stronger, and it can also literally curse people to death using this. We aren't done here yet, however, as Mogami became an evil spirit himself, granting him the same regeneration, invisibility, and non-ethereal existence which I mentioned previously. Mogami also gains the ability to possess people and manipulate their minds, which is actually layered since he's capable of doing this to Espers which already have a resistance to being possessed. With this, he's capable of erasing memories and creating an entire realm within the mind of who he is possessing, where he's basically capable of taking away all their power as well. Going back to what Mogami could do outside of his mental realm, however, he's shown capable of draining the life force from plants and being able to manipulate plants himself. He can manipulate souls and spirits once he has absorbed them and to fight for him. He also has resistances to extrasensory perception, seeing that there was an entire room filled with psychics and yet they could not sense his presence at all, despite the fact that all psychics can do that. All in all, Mogami is quite powerful of a character, but how does he compare to the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna? Ryomen Sukuna has a few ways that you can scale him, as I mentioned previously, but I'll shorten it down just to cover what I think is valid for Sukuna scaling wise. Firstly, he should bare minimum be city busting to mountain level. This is due to his own feats where he causes a large explosion, which can range between 2 megatons of TNT to 164 megatons of TNT. You can also argue that Sukuna massively upscales Dagon, who can create a small island with his domain expansion. While domain expansions are meant to be the ultimate technique of a sorcerer and thus don't scale to their regular punches, I highly doubt that Sukuna will not just eclipse Dagon's power, even just due to the massive power gap between them, even if it is just a bit headcanon-y. Either way, it doesn't really matter since I'll get onto that later on. The highest you can scale Sukuna reasonably, in my opinion, is being able to destroy planets. This is due to the fact that he is stated capable of, quote, destroying the world, and literally has an attack which can divide the world. Obviously, this isn't enough to classify him as planet level on his own, so easily the best planet level argument comes from Yuki, whose black hole was stated capable of blowing up the world. Considering Gojo was stated the strongest sorcerer, and Yuta is the second most powerful sorcerer only to Gojo, and Sukuna would scale above this. The only reason why you can put it to be questioned is because Yuki had to give her life to make this, meaning that she's going far beyond what she could do normally, and thus might be above Gojo and Yuta. But considering the narrative of Gojo being so far above everybody else, he's literally isolated in his own strength, it would be very heavily hampered if everyone but Sukuna could reach his level of power in the current day. Regardless, if you don't buy planet level Sukuna, you should be comfortably in the mountain to island level range, at least in my opinion. Speed wise, and he should be above lightning timing at the very least. This is due to characters like Maki being able to block lightning, and Hikari being able to react to lightning at point blank range, which is calculated to 3.6 million miles per hour. There is also some light speed scaling as well for Jujutsu Kaisen, which is really questionable. I outlined why in the once again mentioned Mob vs JJK video, but once again the best feat in my opinion the characters have to pull from is Kenjaku being able to react fast enough to save himself from the black hole, which is outright stated to be able to take in things so fast that light cannot escape. Of course, the fact he was caught in it at all proves that he isn't faster than light, but being able to react fast enough to not get blitzed by it and save himself means that I think he should at least be relativistic, with Sukuna being faster. Abilities wise, Sukuna has incredible skill in terms of hand-to-hand combat, and he's got some really good regeneration and immortality to go along with that, being able to survive effortlessly without a heart, and being able to heal himself from loss of limbs, and being hit with Hollow Purple. He also shows being able to attack the soul, since he was able to damage Mahito, who can only be harmed by soul attacks. He's also capable of creating a large fire arrow attack, and can mimic the applications of other curse techniques after seeing them being used once. While this doesn't mean he can directly copy techniques, it means that he can copy them in the same way that they are used. He's capable of possessing people, can induce fear into them, and can resist attacks that attack the soul, heat, poisons, ice, and other possession-based attacks. His main technique is Dismantle and Cleave. These are invisible slashing attacks which are even invisible to people who could typically see things which are invisible, and can catch them off guard. Dismantle in specific adjusts to the opponent's durability, so even if the durability is higher than Sukuna's AP, you can argue that he can make up the difference. We also then have his domain expansion. Domains, when summoned, can negate the opposing fighter's cursed energy, and allows the user to land attacks which can literally not miss, and literally just spawn on you. Of course, this means that even if you're somehow able to see Dismantle and Cleave, the domain expansion would make it so that you're not even capable of avoiding it, and you would get hit with a guaranteed effect. This only applies to 15-finger Sukuna when he's in Itadori's body, however, as when he takes over Megami's body, he has all of these, plus many more abilities. Some strange things that don't really apply to Megami himself here are enhanced body control, instinctive reaction, and the ability to transfer damage to Megami directly instead of himself. Sukuna also displays having more resistances, such as to being able to survive Unlimited Void, which fries your brain with information. He can also take black flashes, which can distort space, and he's even capable of tanking electricity attacks as well. The abilities he gets from Megami's body, however, are the 10 Shadows, which allows him to manipulate shadows and travel in them, and summon beasts with many different abilities. This includes Nue, who can fly and fire electricity blasts, Max Elephant, who can use water attacks, Piercing Ox, which can increase its power when running in a straight line, Round Deer, which can heal things, and more importantly, Maharaga, who can, quote, adapt to any phenomena. This includes spatial manipulation and even the concept of slashing attacks in general, making Sukuna pretty busted. He's briefly also had a curse tool as well, which allows him to summon lightning attacks on his own. When he incarnates into his true form, he's lost the ability to use the 10 shadows effectively. However, he has gained a new way to use his curse technique. You see, instead of slashing things like normal attacks, which you would normally assume normal slashing attacks to do, he can now target space and existence itself and cut through that, implying some form of durability negation since it doesn't take you or your durability into account. It just slashes from point A to point B. All in all, Sukuna definitely lives up to his title, but is it enough to take down the century's greatest sidekick, Keiji Mogami? The fight can either go one of two ways. Either you give Sukuna planet level and relativistic scaling and he wins, or you don't and Mogami very easily wins. It's quite simple. Sukuna's higher end scaling is far too strong and fast for Mogami and would blitz and one-shot him, but arguably you could say the exact same thing with Sukuna's lower end scaling. But what about equal stats? Well, it becomes much more interesting, but still a bit crazy. The advantages that Mogami has are very limited, and can only really work if he can possess Sukuna, which, considering his possession is layered, might be possible, even with Sukuna's resistance to possession. However, Sukuna has a lot more going for him. Maharaga with the 10 shadows, his domain expansion, and also just the ability to copy applications of techniques is all really overpowered, meaning that if he sees Mogami do something he can't, he might just be able to replicate it by doing something that uses the same ideas that Mogami has. Even taking away the 10 shadows, Sukuna can negate durability with the World Divining Slash, with Mogami having no answer to that or being able to heal from it. Speaking of, Mogami might not even be able to negate Sukuna's regeneration, since Sukuna can heal from Hollow Purple. Even downplaying this should work on an atomic level, with atoms being so small that they are smaller than molecules, and Mogami essentially just not having that dog in him to take Sukuna down for good, for lack of a better term. So ultimately, if you go with low end scaling for Sukuna, then Mogami cooks. If you go with equal stats or give Sukuna his higher end scaling, Mogami's the one getting cooked. I think it's pretty simple and pretty easy to see. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.